everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Unplayable Podcast. Josh Schonafinger here, joined again by Kane Richardson. Richo, how was your week, mate?
Yeah, another good week. Not as much going on, so we make content up around that, don't we? So I'm looking forward to this episode. Going to really test ourselves out.
Well, it's going to be a good episode. We don't need cricket to have a good episode.
That's not the point of this.
That's right. Let's start with our weekly winner, as we always do. Who have you picked this week?
Well, it is KitWeek, isn't it, on cricket.com.au.
Yeah,
so I saw the Australian release yesterday of their Test, ODI and T20 kits for the female and male.
Thoughts?
And I like it. I love the little shoulder detail. But I've given it to Westpac.
Oh, wow.
That's huge.
They are huge on there, aren't they?
They are getting, and I'm sure it's a good partnership. I'm sure it's worthwhile for Cricket Australia, but they've made front and centre. Nothing. There's no word, just the symbol.
Yeah.
We're going to see a lot of that Westpac logo this summer, aren't we? So
we are.
Yeah, it's just the one thing that captured my imagination last night. I was like, oh my God. Well done, Westpac. So I had to give it to them.
Better to have a big W on your front than a big L, though, right?
Yeah, or it looks like stumps being like splayed, doesn't it?
That's true.
So there is a cricket relationship there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you're right. What's LBW as well, maybe? Maybe we can do some Photoshop into it. But yeah, Westpac.
What did you think of the theory that the English cricketers are going to find they're not going to like the red on the test kit, and then maybe they could blame losing the ball in the red logo?
Point. I actually didn't think that for the test. Yeah, for the test kit. Or is it like the ball, the red rag?
Is it
going to make them angrier? All will be revealed over the summer.
Well, it is Kit Week, and for those watching on YouTube, you can see that Kane Richardson is wearing a beautiful jacket. Why don't you just explain to the listeners what you're wearing today?
Well, it's team edition for the South Australian men's and women's cricket team this year, but my man Travie Head sent me one up to wear. It's not exactly jacket weather up here, but I thought I'd better pull it out.
Looks fantastic.
I think it's a tribute to the last time they won the Shield before last year, 1995. So yeah, they've done a retro edition, New Balance, my sponsor as well, so it works pretty well. Massive West End on the back, quite uncomfortable, I'll say. Not great for sitting in a chair. So, but yeah, it comes up really nicely, doesn't it?
But if you're standing at the cricket, perfect.
Perfect. Yeah. Just stand. Yeah. or lean on a bar or a chair or something. Don't sit.
Like it.
Yeah. Thanks, Travie.
Yep. So well done to Westpac. My weekly winner is Jimmy Pearson this week. 100 not out in the final of the KFC T20 Max. That's the Brisbane local T20 competition up here that sort of leads into the Big Bash. He was playing for Marnus Labuschagne's Redlands, and they had a win in the final over Valley. So, well done, Jimmy Pearson. He just keeps reinventing himself as a player, doesn't he?
Did he make another 100 earlier in the competition as well? Pretty sure.
Testing me now.
Pretty sure he did. I saw it on my Instagram feed, so he's in some form.
Yeah, Jack Wildham has 200s as well in the competition. Marnus got one himself, so Queenslanders looking good there.
Well, it's a good comp to have in as a lead-in. Not every state has that ability to have a high-level grade competition before the summer. So, yeah, awesome for the Queensland guys to ply their trade, but also a lot of Southerners fly up and play some cricket as well. So it's a really good competition, and well done to Jimmy and Redlands for getting the win.
Congratulations to them. Now, the injured quicks, that's a bit of a talking point this week. Richo, another Queenslander, Callum Vidler. Unfortunately, this week we learnt that he had a stress fracture in his back. That's never a good sign, but he's added to the list of, there's a couple of quicks already who have got a few issues injury-wise, including the Test captain Pat Cummins, Lance Morris, he's set for surgery, and Spencer Johnson has also got a little bit of a cloud himself. So not ideal stuff, but as you maybe said off air, perhaps it's a good thing to get it out of the way now for the young 19-year-old Vidler.
I did say that, but then you said it's not chickenpox, and it doesn't mean if you have it once, you're never going to get it again. So it does come with the territory being that age. It is almost becoming fashionable the last few weeks to get a back injury, which is really unfortunate for everyone who has one. But I mean, in his case, it probably gives him an opportunity to build his body up a little bit more. And he's a freak for his age to be able to bowl the speed he does. So to have a summer off is unfortunate because a lot of people, including myself, were tipping him for a massive summer. But this comes with at that age. Have a really good year building your body up and get back into the technical work. And I'm sure he won't have to deal with this stuff again. But yeah, it's unfortunate the last couple of weeks we've lost some really good quicks to serious injuries. Like
Yeah.
the back is never a good one because it can linger if you come back early. So fingers crossed to all those guys that they recover well.
Without getting too scientific, this was a fracture of his L3 vertebra. Now, what does that mean, and what's the sort of timeline? Speaking from experience as a fast bowler, what does the timeline look like for his recovery and his rehabilitation?
Yeah, what's common, like
Is it?
that area is common. If you're going to have a stress fracture, it usually is in L3, L4. Most guys do in their teens or their 20s. Usually not late 20s, like Lance Morris's mid 20s, and that you don't see that as often. Like usually by then your bones have hardened up and you're kind of on your way. But
Right.
time frame's different for everyone. I would say that it's just you take a long time to get back bowling and bowling at speed. So it's going to be a slow recovery process, but he'll have so much time to get fit and strong like that. And that is the key to it, is you have to actually pay attention to getting stronger, like your core, your legs, all the stuff that kind of binds it all together. So no doubt he's got, and I know Queensland's S&C staff they're some of the best I've ever worked with. So I dare say he'll come back a really good version of himself, but it'll be a while.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So pre-Christmas sort of.
Oh,
very
yeah.
unlikely.
I think, and a guy that age and that skill set, you're not going to rush him back for
No.
anything. So I dare say, I don't know, maybe he'll look at the back end of the summer, but I guess they'll work that out. But I dare say you might not see much of him.
Yeah. There's probably no point taking a risk with him. He's there at 19. So
No.
to give him all the time he needs. Was that something that you had in your early days as well?
Yeah, I was younger. I was 16, I reckon, when I had them. And
Really?
again, it
Wow.
is common when you're growing. And
Are they painful?
Yeah, they are. And that was the other thing I was going to say. With the recovery, the main thing is being pain-free, just everyday things. Like I remember sitting in a chair or getting up off a chair that's when I knew I was in big trouble. And I had it a couple of times. And it's like, right, well, if I'm in pain getting up off a chair, I'm definitely not going to be able to bowl today. So that's when you get it investigated. And I'm sure something like that happened to Cal and he got it investigated. So yeah, it's just getting that everyday movement back without being in pain, and then you slowly build up.
And it's not like breaking a leg where it happens in one motion, is it? It's sort of an accumulation over time. That's my understanding.
Well, yeah, from stress, I guess, and load and stuff. And I'm sure there's science behind it, and people try and protect their players as much as possible. But again, like this just happens to certain guys, and no one's born to bowl. Like it's such an unnatural thing, and we speak about these great fast bowlers all the time. But when you actually every single time they bowl, you watch the force they put their body under at high speed. Like your body is not meant to do that. And all the gym and all the fitness and all this stuff can prepare you. And bowling over and over again gets you hardened, but it also can make you break. So it's kind of one of those things, again, that just happens.
Are there some actions that are more susceptible, would you say, than others, or is there just no science?
We're getting technical now. I don't think I'm qualified. I probably should be, but I dare say there is. I know counter rotation was a big thing when I was a kid. Like I'm the worst guy to speak on it because my action is.
What does that mean?
Well, like my legs will face mid wicket, but my upper body will face gully.
Oh,
so all of a sudden your body's moving in two different areas where they want you to be as straight as possible. And I don't know since then, like I haven't done technical work in 10 years, but I remember when I was coming through, it was always to try and be as front onto the batsman as possible, everything going towards the batsman.
Yep. Who's a good example of that? Who's a straight liner?
Well, when I was a kid, it was Brett Lee. Like he was his action was built in a lab, like in terms of how but he still had back issues. He still has, but he bowled at high speed and, played a lot of cricket. So there's no technique that's going to protect you, but I would dare say there's ones that put you under more stress that are going to cause injury. So I'm not sure Cal's in that boat. I think his technique's just natural, and straight. Yep. It's just, again, you bowl at 145 clicks at 20 years old, something's probably got to give.
Yep. So now he was one of your breakout players that you nominated at the start of the month, or last month, in fact, Richo, along with Marley Beardman, Millie Illingworth, Buckingham from Jordan Buckingham from South Australia, and Jack Edwards. So we're going to give you the opportunity to replace him. We're going to sit Cal off for a season.
Yep.
He can come back next year.
Yep.
But given the season hasn't actually officially started, who are you going to replace him with?
Well, I had a deep dive of the season guide last night. Tough. So I'm going to go like for like. I'm going to go quick. He may be injured at the moment, which isn't a great thing, but I think over the summer he's going to have a big role to fill for WA. I'm going Brodie Couch.
Okay. Yep.
I've had a little bit of I've been around him a little bit at the Renegades when he was a real young kid from the country. Great kid, one of the nicest kids you ever meet. But bowls really good pace, and I know he's had some success in Shield cricket for WA, and I reckon with Lance Morris being out, I think he's done a side at the moment. He's out of the A series, so he's getting cherry ripe for the domestic season. I think over the course of the summer, he's going to have a big role to fill with Lance Morris out for Big Bash as well.
Okay, yep, took a hat-trick last year, didn't he?
He did.
And he's deceptively quick. That's what everybody says about him.
He's got it's a weird action. It looks like he's not putting in a lot of effort, but the ball does come out. And it's inconsistent. There's just a ball out of nowhere that's like 10 Ks quicker, but he is consistently good pace. So I think there's a player in there that in the next few years will be like, man, where did Brody Couch come from? And all of a sudden he'll be on to bigger and better things. But he was in the A series, so it's not like he's come from nowhere. So, he's my man.
All right, Brody Couch. Richo, like it. Now we're going to get Louis Cameron on the line. Of course, he's been hosting the Unplayable podcast for many years. We haven't seen him this season as of yet. But Louis, good to chat to you, mate. And how are you?
Hey, boys. Yeah, just saying before we joined, feeling decidedly underdressed, seeing what good get up you've got. Josh, that's a pretty cool IPL kit. And Richo, you're wearing your former state's colours there. So controversial.
No, first love. We spoke about this last week. My first love, Louis. So, and they're winning. So you got to get back on.
Now, Louis, the reason that we've brought you on quick smart on this episode is to get your 5 breakout players for the season. We've heard from myself, Richo, and Jack so far, and we know that you've always got a very close eye on the domestic game. So we want to hear, who have you nominated as your 5 breakout players this season?
Okay, cool. I can rattle through them. Tell me if I'm going into too much detail here, boys, but I'm excited about my 5. There's some obscure ones, and then I finish off with a not so obscure one, and it might actually be a bit of a controversial entrant into this because this player has probably already broken out, you'd say, but I might add a little hot take in there. So my first one is Blake Nikitaris, who definitely falls into the obscure category, and I'm pretty sure that none of you guys would have him. I've had beachfront property on Blake Nikitaris Island for a long time now. And he hasn't really delivered, it's fair to say. I reckon even he would probably admit that. I think it's 16 Shield games for New South Wales. He only averages 23 in the Shield. But I just think he's got the tools to be a really good player from what I've said. I've never seen him really play in person, but having watched a bit of the Sheffield Shield streams, his pull shot is incredible. Like if you Google Blake Nikitaris pull shot, he is pulling balls off the top of the stumps. And I reckon that kind of brand of opener who can put the pressure back on the bowlers is absolutely dynamite in Shield cricket these days. So he's my first one.
Who do you liken him to? I haven't played against him, but we've heard of him because,
of course,
we pay attention to domestic cricket. But who do you liken him to? I actually haven't seen him play.
Yeah, it's a really good question. I mean, I actually really haven't seen a player like him. Like he pulls balls off the top of the stumps for 6. He's done it to Brendan Doggett. I saw him do it to Jordan Buckingham in one of the games. I can't really think of another player exactly like that, like a lefty who just camps back on the back shoe. And I mean, maybe Uzi Khawaja is kind of one who bats a bit like that now, who doesn't look to score that much off the front shoe unless it's really full. But then you get slightly short and he punishes you. But Blake probably goes up a bit more aerial with his pull shot than Uzi. So he's someone I'm really excited to see. And there's been a lot of hype over another Greek heritage opener in New South Wales in Sam Consis, but I reckon Nikitaris could join him as a really good Shield player this season.
Oh wow! And maybe given the recent success of Italy, these guys can look to play for Greece in the distant future.
Yep. There's some decent players. Might have to get Theodoropoulos off the Channel 7 Melbourne news anchorship and get him in. Marcus Stoinis, like he's still playing for Australia, so that could be a hard get. But yeah, definitely a few floating around.
Like it, mate. Who else have you got? Nikitaris, that's a strong start.
Yeah. Now, my next one, I reckon a couple of you guys might have already had Lucy Hamilton. Left arm quick from Queensland. Richo's probably seen her a little bit around the traps, training up there. It's been a slow burn for her. She didn't take a wicket in her first 8 WBBL games and then took a fifer against the Melbourne Stars, including Meg Lanning, which is a pretty good way to start. She was the youngest woman to ever take a fifer in the WBBL. And just the left arm seam, it's just such a valuable commodity in T20 cricket. She's played in the Australia A team, shared the new ball with Kim Garth during the off-season, so I reckon she would have learnt a lot off the calibre of those kind of players. So, yeah, she's one, I reckon, who should go from strength to strength this season.
And she's still so young as well. And left arm is such a rare thing in women's cricket as well.
Well, in all cricket, aren't they? We just spoke about Mitchell Starc last week and the shoes, filling those shoes. So in any team in male or female, to have a left arm that swings the ball is worth its weight.
Yeah, and one of the other things is just reading some of Laura Jolly's work on cricket.com.au. She hadn't done a pre-season with Queensland until this off season. So she's grew up in far north Queensland. So I think she'd kind of been commuting down a little bit. So that'll be really important. Just to be around full-time professional players. Day to day is so important for these players. A similar, I might just jump straight into my third one. A bit of a similar story with Aidan O'Connor down from Tasmania. Now he's a guy from the Launceston Cricket Factory that's produced James Faulkner, Ricky Ponting, David Boone, and a similar one who got a rookie contract around 16, 17, completed his schooling up in Launceston, and I believe now, or this 2025 has been his first off season. He's a really exciting young all-rounder, probably in the mould of Mitch Owen and Bo Webster, who could probably bat 6, 7 and 8 and bowl first or second change. Really exciting. He was a member of that under-19 World Cup winning squad last year, I believe it was, that kind of golden generation of players with Constas, Dixon, Vidler, Straker. So really, really unbelievable crop of players there. He didn't play a whole lot in that tournament just because he was the second youngest behind Peak, I believe it was. And he might even be eligible for the next one in 2026 as a 19-year-old, I believe. So, I reckon with a full preseason under his belt, he's someone who could do really well this summer.
Has he played much for Tassie as of yet?
Yeah, took 2 wickets on debut and hit a 50 down from number 8, debuting for Tassie last summer against Victoria. And you'd kind of think as he, when they eventually kind of lose Mitch Owen for Shield games and lose Bo Webster, you'd think over time he probably becomes a 6 and 7. I spoke to Rob Castle about him earlier in the year, and someone you've worked, I reckon, pretty closely with, Kane. And he was really high on Aidan and reckons he's got an excellent kind of outswinger and just kind of like learning how to bowl that wobble seam ball. So if you can do those two things down on a nipping kind of Hobart wicket and then whack a few at 6 and 7, that's a pretty good recipe for a player.
Absolutely. And we've seen Tassie have had a strong, like you said, James Faulkner with the Lonnie connection, but Luke Butterworth doing that for a long time as well, like how valuable that was for them, when they won their Shield back in, was their first Shield win, wasn't it? So, I reckon even with Owen and Webster around, they'll try and fit them all in, I reckon, because again, like you can build your team around those all-rounders through that 6, 7 and 8 and give them a real good learning experience around those guys. So it's good. It's a good, strong 3 to start from Lou.
Brad Hope there too, actually. So another
good point.
all-rounder. Yep, plenty to choose from.
Yeah, and they've been pretty. I think they've been pretty happy constructing a bit of a different Sheffield Shield team, Tassie. Like, I think that year before last, where they did really, really well. Brad Hope was batting down at 8 and 9, and they kind of had 6 different bowling options, and like a lot of the time they weren't playing a spinner and did things a little bit differently. So there's definitely room for all of them. Now my fourth one is a young quick called Tom Whitney, who I'm interested to pick Kane's brains about, whether he's seen him around the traps down at Queensland. A 22-year-old who's a little bit older than. So you had those quicks in the under-19 squad from last year: Vidler, Beardman, Straker, and there's one other off the top of my head I can't remember, who were kind of that unbelievable force. And Charlie Anderson was the other one from New South Wales. So Whitney's a year or two older than those guys, and he took 8 wickets on Sheffield Shield debut for Queensland, including a 5-wicket haul in the first dig. And that was against the eventual champions, South Australia. The thing I love about him is he just clean bowls blokes. I think 5 of his 11 Shield wickets have been clean bowled. Looks like he's got a beautiful wrist, and I'm sure you've probably seen him a little bit in the nets, Richo.
Yeah, he debuted 2 or 3 summers ago, one of the last one days of the year. I think it was a dead rubber. And obviously with the name of Whitney, you're going to take notice, aren't you? With that, I know he's no relation to Mike, but yeah, maybe he'll be good at game shows. Or
we could start a rumor that he is.
Well, let's do that. Exclusive on the Unplayable Pod. But I saw him firstly there, but then I think he missed a summer with a serious back injury, which again is topical at the moment. But used it. I think he may have undergone surgery. Used it as a way to get better, and then came back. He's a beautiful athlete, like you said. He's got this natural ability. With the ball coming out of the hand, but he actually is deceivingly quick, like another one of these guys that we've spoken about. And you say he's older, like 22, still so young. And he's probably going to have a massive role to play for Queensland going forward with Nessa. Those guys, that Queensland attack that served them so well. Again, as we've spoken about older quicks, there's going to be opportunity coming up for the younger guys coming through. So, yeah, Louis, he's striking them well, I reckon, at the moment.
It's a strong four, isn't it? Very strong four. Who you got to finish?
Well, the last one might be a touch controversial because it's probably the most high-profile player that I've seen in these lists.
Steve Smith.
It's Steve Smith. It's Virat Kohli. No, it's Annabelle Sutherland, who you might kind of put into that category of already being a superstar. But I think she's going to be player of the tournament at this World Cup coming up in India. I thought she got a bit of a dud run at the last World Cup last year in the UAE, where she was batting kind of 7, 8, 9, which I thought was too low. They had Georgia Wareham up at number 3 as a pinch hitter. It didn't really work. And I just think she's found a really settled role in that one-day team at number 5. She averages 40 with the stick in ODI cricket. She averages 80 with the stick in Test cricket. Already has 3 centuries in both of those formats. I don't think the public really appreciates what an excellent all-rounder she is, and probably the leading all-rounder in that side, even above Elise Perry. I don't think people have quite grasped just how good a player we've got on our hands. So slightly controversial, given she's by no means she's an established international star, but the breakout part of it comes from, I think, a dominant World Cup tournament coming up.
Yeah, I mean, when Elise Perry's known as the GOAT and she's sort of referred to as the baby GOAT, she's certainly on her way. But as you say, maybe that is internal praise and not the general public yet. So a big World Cup and another trophy win would certainly help that.
Yeah, and I didn't even touch on her bowling there, which is excellent. Like first or second change, hits the pitch really hard. Probably maybe behind Darcy Brown, the quickest bowler in that team as a regular. And then she also bats in the top 5. Like, there's so much to like about her. Can't wait to see what she does in India over the coming weeks.
Like it a lot, Lou. Well done, mate. Anything else to leave us with before you sign off?
No, not too much. Enjoying the podcast so much, guys. And we've had some great feedback as well on the Ashes 05 deep dives. And they were really great fun to produce. I've had more people ask me about the Hooters story from Nottingham, which I still won't go into on a podcast, but if I see you in person, I will give you that story in full.
I got a couple of messages yesterday about the incorrect Roman numerals on the clock at the Oval, so people are really loving the niche details that we went into.
Is this the right place to figure out what was going on there? Because I'm still none the wiser.
No, neither are we. We just don't know what happened. Maybe it was an error.
Good.
Yep. Good stuff, mate. Well, thanks for letting us know, and we'll touch base with you very soon. Of course, we'll be doing our thing for the Ashes when that rolls around as well. But good to chat, mate, and we'll see you soon.
Great work, guys. Cheers.
All right, Richard, we got Louis' picks there. Another one, though, that we need to get was Jack Painter. He also selected Callum Vidler. So we got him to submit a little voice note. Let's have a listen to who Jack wants to replace with his breakout players.
Thanks, Josh. It's such a shame to see Callum Vidler go down with back stress fractures even before the season gets underway, because I was looking forward to seeing what he could produce this summer after his standout performance in last year's Sheffield Shield final. But we all know that back stress fractures are part and parcel of being a fast bowler, and we're absolutely wishing him a full and speedy recovery, and hopefully we see him back out there later in the year or next season. The additional player that I'll add to my 5 breakout players to watch this season is, like Vidler, a member of that Australian Under-19 World Cup winning side in 2024, and that's Tasmanian off-spinner Raf McMillan, who I'm actually looking to start the season in Tasmania's Sheffield Shield side with Matthew Kuhneman away on international duties for Australia's T20 tour of New Zealand. So I'm looking forward to seeing what McMillan can do there and pushing his case throughout the rest of the season. And it'd also be reminiscent of me not to add another Queensland fast bowler to the mix, Tom Straker, who is part of Australia A's 50-over tour of India later this month, where they'll play 3 one-day matches in Kanpur. And I'm looking forward to seeing him step up in Vidler's absence throughout the season for Queensland.
Okay, so
6.
Jack's doubled down.
So we get another one?
I don't think we need any more. I like the McMillan addition, though. I think New South Wales were a bit annoyed that they had him clutched out of their grasp and he went down to Tassie a couple of years ago. But, he's a very promising offer, isn't he?
Yeah, it's a good selection. I saw him he was playing up in Darwin for the Hurricanes Academy.
Oh, right.
I was talking to Jordan Silk, was part of the NT team, so I was picking his brains about, because there's so many of these guys that have come through that I haven't played state cricket, because I haven't played in a couple of years, I haven't seen. So, but he was a big rap for him, and I agree with what Jack said. I think he'll start in their team, and we'll get to the state roundup, but I reckon there's a sleeping giant down there in Tassie. I reckon they're building something this year.
Okay.
I reckon they're coming.
Okay, well, let's get into the state previews. As we sort of have touched on, the One Day Cup starts on Tuesday, the 16th of September. So we're nearly there, Richo. We're nearly into the season proper. Why don't we start with last season's champions in both competitions, South Australia? They have made 2 changes to their list. Hanno Jacobs comes in. He played a couple of Shield games for New South Wales last season. And Doogie Hugen-Bosom is the other addition. He's grown up in WA, hasn't played any state cricket yet, I don't think, but he's a talented top order batter, I believe. Their outs are Cole Brazel and Harry Conway.
Yeah, they look strong again. I think we spoke about them months ago, but their bowling group will carry them again. I think going forward, they've built a really nice stable. Not really on the cusp of national selection outside of Brendan Doggett. Nathan McAndrew probably has done enough to be in the conversation, but with so many quicks around, I think those guys are just going to be, on the domestic merry-go-round this year. They're going to be, keen as to have another good year and show that last year wasn't just a one-off, as albeit an amazing year that they had, winning both competitions. So it's hard to go past them as a favourite, isn't it? And like Jason's saying, and Mackenzie Harvey, like guys are making runs as well. Nathan McSweeney, it's a pretty good balanced list.
Yeah, and like they missed McSweeney for a portion of last season with his test stuff, and now they get him for potentially the whole year.
Yeah.
And as you say, probably not a whole lot of other guys who are really banging down the door. I mean, Travis Head and Alex Carey are in there, but from that side, I mean, it's very, very strong, isn't it? So don't expect us to see too many changes there, and maybe back to back. Well, no, we probably shouldn't.
It's hard to do, isn't it? It is hard to do, but they're favourites, and they should be because of the way they did it last year, and they proved so many people wrong, but also themselves, that they could conquer their batting demons chasing a score in a final. So, Jake Lehman was in amazing form again, and Ryan Harris as a coach, like that ability shouldn't go unnoticed. Like he's turned that place, not around, because they were starting to show signs, but he's just come in and taken everyone to another level.
Definitely. Queensland were second in the Shield last season. They've brought in a couple of players, including Hayden Kerr from New South Wales, Zandon Jay, the left-arm off spinner who played for Australia A just recently against Sri Lanka, and then Tom Balkin is a new fast bowling wonder kid, apparently, who's come into this team. They have lost a couple of very experienced players in Ben McDermott, Liam Guthrie, and Bryce Street, as well as under-19 fast bowler Connor Sully. So few additions there. Queensland didn't have a fantastic start to the last season, but hit their straps late, snuck into the final, and now I reckon they're a hard team to pick because they could go either way, in my opinion.
Well, and the big one is how much will Marnus play? Like there's the possibility not much, but there also is the other side where he could be there quite a bit. And if you throw him into that team, I know he played the Shield final, but if you have an extended period of time of him as captain and leading the batting, it's a pretty good team. And their bowlers as well, like Nessa is a star. He's older, but he's not going anywhere, so I still think they'll be around the mark.
That's a really good point, because when they had Labuschagne and Khawaja last season, they just looked so much better, didn't they? Because I mean, they've got some talented young batters there, but just not at the level to perform consistently, probably at state level. So, get those guys in, and all of a sudden they're a contender. Third place last season was Victoria. They've made a stack of changes. They've brought in Blake McDonald from New South Wales, David Moody from Western Australia, fast bowler. Ollie Peake gets his first contract. We know how talented he is. and Callum Stowe, the leg spinner, gets a spot on the list as well. Unfortunately, a couple of retirements. Peter Siddle and Will Pekowski drop off the list, as do John Merlo and Josh Brown.
They've kind of done it differently. They've gone a lot younger in the last few years, but still managed to sustain some level of competitiveness, making Shield finals, with a young captain as well who's starting to hit his good years in Will Sutherland. So again, they probably have the best group. Would you say the best group of youngsters coming through when you look at Peake, Dixon, still throw Sutherland in that mix?
For sure.
Even Stowe is one that you talk about breakouts. He's probably on the cusp of that. I'm not sure how much he'll play, but he'll definitely play at some point. And there's a skill set there that's not, exactly growing on trees. So I think they've got a really impressive group of youngsters coming through.
And they've got Joel Lemire there as well, the new, he's not new as such, but he's just been upgraded to a full contract. He's a wicketkeeper batter.
Yep.
So in case something happens to Sam Harper, he'll be next off the rank. And he's a really impressive player.
Yep. No, I like their list. The way they've done it, they've still got Pete Hanscom and Marcus Harris, who are, obviously played for a decade now and play all over the world and are still in county cricket playing at the moment. So they're going to be ready to go. So they'll be around the mark.
Quite a few changes at New South Wales, who finished 4th in the Shield last season. Charlie Stobo returns after a few seasons, and including a Shield victory at Western Australia. Out go Jackson Bird, who's back to Tassie. And then no contracts for a lot of experienced guys, including Chris Green, Moses Onrakes, Daniel Hughes, and Kerr and Hackney fall off that list as well. But, of course, we could see those more experienced guys play. They just don't have a central contract with the state.
Yeah, and it's always nice to have the option to contract guys and then have those guys still be around to. And I'm sure we'll see that happen. Like Moses Enriquez is still, as far as I know, Big Bash captain of the Sixers, so there'd be a pretty good reason to have him around the one-day team still. So there's always question marks with New South Wales because you just don't know who's going to be there. There's so much Aussie representation, but they're always a strong state, cricketing state. So probably watching them with as much interest as anyone. And my man, Jack Edwards.
Yes, Jack Edwards, he'll be there. He'll be captaining the Shield team. That's his role, isn't it, captain?
That's a good question. I think it was last year when Moses wasn't there.
Yeah.
So is he full-time captain? I don't know if there's been an announcement, but I dare say he's front of queue.
And as you say, with all those national guys, we will probably see a bit of Sam Constas in the lead into the first test, maybe a Steve Smith here or there. So they're always going to be buoyed when they get those guys back. I wonder if we'll see any of the test quicks have a run out in the Shield as well.
Well, there might be an opportunity with the one days next week for some of them to get some game time. So they could have a really formidable team.
Yeah, watch this space.
Which I remember was always when SA had them. So I have to check the schedule. But there might be some good names in playing next week.
Are you saying there's a conspiracy there that South Australia would always play when the Aussie guys are available?
Well, maybe we're seeing the benefits of it in this generation, of all that hard work that we went through to playing against that test and ODI team and getting our pants pulled down.
Tassie finished 5th in both competitions last season, so a disappointing season for them. But they have been boosted by the inclusion of 2 fast bowlers, Jackson Bird, who's one of the leading Sheffield Shield wicket takers of all time, and Marcus Bean, who's one of the tallest Sheffield Shield bowlers of all time. What do we reckon about Tassie? Not too many other changes. Only Jared Freeman is the only omission to their list from last season.
I don't know why I have this. I saw him up in Darwin. It was separate, been the Hurricanes Academy, but they had a lot of their Tassie kids there. And as I said, playing with Jordan Silk, I just have a feeling with getting Birdie back, he won't play every game, obviously, but to have that experience quick around, they've got a great group of bowlers.
They've got a lot of fast bowlers,
bowlers, yeah. And I think, Gabe Bell will kind of lead the attack. And then with Mitch Owen, like how much when he comes back. And Jordan Silk wanted me to raise this, but there's a possibility that he could open the batting in Sheffield Shield cricket.
Oh, wow.
And he said, I want you to plug it on the pod because he's pushing for it.
Is he your sleeping giant?
Well, they are, because I think, who knows how that's going to go.
Mitch Owen to open in the Shield.
So that's what he said to get out there. He's pushing for it. He's trying to get Jeff Warne on board. So we'll see. So watch this. Well, we won't see him initially because he's in New Zealand, but who knows what they're capable of. Yeah.
I don't know what to do with that information. That's a
well,
bombshell.
when he told me, I was hard to take. But I guess as a bowler, like you're taking new ball day one, what is he going to do? Like all of a sudden you've got this seed of doubt in your mind and you're obviously going to back yourself to get him out. But
Yeah.
What if you don't? Like it's that David Warner when he was in his prime, like all of a sudden throwing it back on the opposition. We saw Sam Constas do it at Boxing Day. Like when guys come out ultra aggressive and it comes off, like, oh my God, like teams get so rattled. So I don't know, maybe it won't happen, but it might. Who knows?
Okay. Definitely one to watch. Had some great success opening, obviously, last year with the Hurricanes, and a little bit for Tassie as well, actually. He scored that very quick one-day 100 after the Big Bash. So, Mitch Owen, could he repeat it in the red ball format? The final team to touch on for the men's state preview is Western Australia. 3-time reigning champions. They finished last in both competitions last season. Very much a surprise. And they have made some changes this season. Charlie Stobo, we mentioned, is gone to New South Wales. Darcy Short doesn't get a contract this year. Neither does Hamish McKenzie or young quick Sam Greer or Josh Vernon. Joel Curtis, though, he was the surprise packet last season as their wicketkeeper. He gets a full contract for the first time.
Still think they look strong. The bowlers being injured, the costly ones, and Joel Paris, he was in Darwin again rehabbing, so they'll be hoping to get him back. He averages under 20 in first class cricket, in Sheffield Shield cricket, I should say, which is ridiculous. So
yeah, hasn't played enough in my opinion. I guess the body's let him down, but his record is unbelievable.
It's to average under 20 is ridiculous. And he won't when he finishes, but to do it, like he's played a fair amount of cricket and he's been injured a lot and he's missed a lot, but that's a decent sample size. So
Definitely.
to have someone like that leading your attack, yeah, they're going to miss the other guys, but my man Couchy will step in, and I think they'll still be a seriously competitive team. So when you look at those 6 teams, it's hard to really pick anyone head and shoulders above the rest. And that's the beauty of domestic cricket with only 6 teams and everyone being super competitive.
Yeah, and as you say, when we get a couple of rounds in, there'll be a few surprises and a few things that we never saw coming. So hopefully we'll get another great season of the Sheffield Shield and the One Day Cup.
Yep.
Of course, all those matches can be streamed live and free on cricket.com.au. Circling back to the season previews, WNCL, that doesn't start for another week or two, so we will come back to that. It is Kit Week, as we've touched on off the top. You're in your West End Redbacks kit. Well,
West End, South Australia.
Sorry, technically not Redbacks.
Rest in peace, Redbacks.
Anymore. I'm in my IPL Kings 11 Punjab.
Yeah, can you tell people about that? Because it looks a bit weird that you're wearing a Kings 11 shirt. Like, why would you be?
Well, this is from the days before they rebranded, similar to your mob there, to the Punjab Kings. They were the Kings 11 Punjab, which bit of a mouthful. I'm glad they did the rebrand. But yeah, I spent a bit of time with them during the 2016 season, just as an intern or sort of staffer, trying to weasel my way into a decent role. And yeah, it was a great little tournament. So I picked up some merch on the way. And
nice.
Certainly one of those things you have to sort of see it to believe at the IPL.
Did you have the silver pants that matched?
No.
That was the best.
I didn't
love
want the silver pants.
Oh, you didn't?
Nah.
I reckon if you wear that, you should wear it full
you
need
kit.
the full kit. It's amazing.
Well, when am I going to get the opportunity to
right now?
Kit Week?
You can't see your legs.
And on my head, I've got the cap for Rovers United Bruck Cricket Club, my local team back in Wangaratta, which took up many, many hours of my junior days. Who have you got on your head?
Shout out to one of the many clubs I played cricket for, but this is West Torrens Eagles in Adelaide. This is the last club I played for in Adelaide before shifting up to Queensland. Bit of a factory there. So actually the first year I was there, I finished my South Australian career at West Torrens, but the first year I was there, they won every competition.
Wow.
And I played no part in any of those, but I will say I helped establish some culture.
Did you take part in the celebration?
No, I didn't even get to sign the commemorative bat or anything, but I was an Eagle that year. I think I played a T20.
Okay.
So shout out to the Eagles, Henley Beach.
Nice. Very good. Now, we are going to be counting down the greatest Aussie T20 kits of all time. That's coming this Friday on cricket.com.au. Social channels for Kit Week. Richo, you played in a few different kits in your time. Are there any that immediately jump to mind as the best?
Not in my time. I think without sounding negative, I think cricket clothing has gone downhill since the 90s and the noughties, the early noughties. I reckon that was peak in all sports. Like design back then was, I think, better.
Yeah, okay.
So, but there was some solid ones. Like I think Adidas used to do a really good green one, like green with the gold, like it was baggy green, and we wore that for our 19s World Cup.
Oh yeah.
We wore the golds as well, and like it was good kit. But I think since then, I reckon they've just gone so modern. I reckon
Yeah.
we've lost a bit of that. Like,
Everything needs to be retro-like.
yeah, I think you almost need to bring it back. And you've seen teams do it. Like when teams do this, like they sell out immediately,
Yeah.
don't they? Because there's nostalgia attached to it. So,
Definitely.
yeah, I would say 90s is
That's peak.
top of the pyramid.
I mean, there was no T20 cricket in the 90s. Can you imagine what they would have looked
Oh.
like?
Imagine how good that would have been. Like I did a deep dive in some of them. I got a little website to plug.
Oh.
Even the Aussie A kit back when they used to just flip it.
Oh,
It was like green and gold and then, gold and green. It was like
was
that
cool.
Aussie A kit was the best,
Definitely.
I think.
I like
There's
it,
so
mate.
much we could talk about this for hours.
We could. We might have to circle back to this next year. Australia A, they're heading to India and they play 2 4-day matches starting on September 16. That's next Tuesday. There are a lot of guys here in the national conversation, so it's worth touching on, including Sam Constas, who's going to be over there opening the batting. We've got your man, Jack Edwards.
Yep.
Nathan McSweeney, who'll probably
Yep.
be number 3, and then a couple of the spinners who are sort of next in the pecking order, Corey Rockacholi and Todd Murphy, as well as guys like Xavier Bartlett, Fergus O'Neill, Aaron Hardy. So lots of guys there who, if they have a couple of great games here, I mean, all of a sudden, test conversation, right?
Yeah, who's the biggest series for? Sam Constas, probably.
Probably, yeah.
And some of the guys who are trying to take his spot in Kellaway and McSweeney, you could argue that they're still in conversation if he makes runs.
Definitely.
He'd probably be, 3, McSweeney. So
Yep.
if they're making runs in that competition whilst the domestic season's going on, I wonder what is going to be weighted more. Like
Wow.
if we're having a bat off.
That's true. But, I mean, one thing to consider is the strength of the India
Yeah.
A side. It's really strong. They've got Prashid Krishna, who played in the SCG test last summer. Mohammad Siraj is going to be playing the second match of this series. Khalil Ahmed, he's a left armer who's played 20 white ball internationals for India. And Nitish Reddy Kumar, who played those tests and scored 100 on the MCG. So that's just their bowling attack. Their batters look awesome as well. So they're going to be up against it, these Aussies.
Well, anytime an Indian team, whether it's A, they could do an India E team, and they've got an embarrassment at riches. So it's a good point. Like if you're performing against that team in foreign conditions or their home conditions, it's going to have quite a bit of weight attached to it. Now Perth Ashes test is going to be a completely different scenario,
Yeah.
but if you can thrive in that, it's pressure cooker. Like that team will not be treating it like an A game.
Oh, no.
Because they're trying to make their way into the Indian team. So it's going to be good to watch. And it is really cool that we get to watch that whilst having the domestic season going on, because everyone wants to talk about bat-offs and positions and stuff. So all of a sudden you've got 2 different scenarios playing off and we get to talk about it.
Now, I know that it was before the T20s against South Africa, George Bailey said that this series wouldn't have a huge bearing on the selection. I mean, but if Sam Constas or Nathan McSweeney score big hundreds in both matches, all of a sudden you cannot ignore that, can you?
Well, we saw it last year. Like Nathan McSweeney got picked off the back of that A series against India. It was up north. So
That's
you could
right,
argue that it doesn't, but it does or it did. So I would dare say, and we've spoken about performing at any time of the year in any competition is always a good thing, especially when there's a build up to an Ashes and there's certain things that people are talking about, positions being up for grabs. So, there's a lot to play out.
They're playing at Ekana Stadium in Lucknow. The Aussies played 2 matches there at the 2023 World Cup, and in the second match against Sri Lanka, the hoardings around the stadium started to fall from the lofty height of the stadium roof and luckily not onto patrons, but they were in the vicinity. So hopefully no heavy winds in the area because there were some scary scenes last time. Yeah,
let's hope they've got a few more screws and drills out and reinforced it. So it's a good, again, test venue. So everything, this whole series is emulating A cricket, which is what it should. So it's going to be fiercely contested.
Absolutely. Now, Richo, I did promise last week that Hey Richo would return.
It's back from the dead,
and we've got a really good entry this week.
Okay.
So let me bring it up.
Yep.
This one has come in from Mitch S. Okay. So
anonymous.
Hey Richo, I've got a couple for you. Firstly, will we see you at a Suns game, and will the Suns make the final? But second, I want to know, are you going to bring back the Shane Watson-like bleached blonde locks that I experienced of Kane Richardson in Australian under-19 colours?
That's a good question, Mitch has. That The voice sounds familiar. I can't put my finger on it though.
Well, he played with you, he said. So
Oh,
it must
really?
have been
Juniors
a
or
former
something?
teammate. Yeah. So let's start with the Suns. That's referring to the Gold Coast Suns, Australian rules football team. They're in the finals at the minute. Can they
Yes.
make it all the way to the grand
Oh,
final?
of course they can. They're in it.
Yeah. Will they?
Will they? Yeah, I think they will at least make it to the final four. I think they'll hot take. I think they'll win this weekend.
Fantastic.
Momentum, opposition on arguably, limping. I think they'll get them. If they make the granny, I'm going.
Okay. There you go, Mitch. Yep.
I'll go.
And the second question, bleached blonde locks.
You know what? I've thought about it. Now, there's a picture going around. So when I was in Darwin, there's a picture going around when I was a kid playing representative cricket for the NT. I'll try and find it. I'll send it to you.
Please.
It's down to my shoulders and it is literally bleached. It is as bleached as you can get hair. But that used to be really popular. So you can laugh about it now, but
Wow.
basically everyone was doing it.
Yeah.
But I chose to have hair down to my shoulders. So I've thought about it.
About bringing it back.
I have thought about it. Like Zamps has done it a few times with the shaved lid.
Yep.
But I also think when you get to a certain age, you can't really do that stuff anymore. It's a young men's game.
Well, yeah, the Slim Shady look that Zamps
Yeah.
had was that last year? Yeah,
Well, he's done it a few times, I reckon. But he definitely did last year over Big Bash. I've thought about it.
Okay.
But yeah, I think I'm too old.
Okay.
And my beard's too black. I think the contrast, I'd look like Jason Ackermanis from back in the day, for those that remember Jason Ackermanis. Blonde hair, but a real dark goatee. I just don't think it's a great look, but I've thought about it.
All right. Thank you, Mitch, for your questions.
Thanks,
Send in
Mitch.
your Hey Richo questions to podcast@cricket.com.au if you want to pose a question to our man here. Richo, good stuff, mate. Thanks for this episode and enjoy the week.
Bring on the cricket next week.
Let's do it.